Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
I feel like it's worse when you interrupt somebody's discussion. Like, you're not even in the discussion to begin with, right? So you have no reason to object. This isn't a wedding. Nobody asked, right? And we're talking about it, and then you go, man, I've never watched an episode. It's like, okay, all right. Well, then you might want to leave, right? Spoiler alert. Are you gonna watch one? Or why even say anything? Why talk? I don't get that. I've never seen an episode. I don't go around gallivanting about it, like just billboarding it. Like, hey, yeah, no, Game of Thrones, nah, not my thing.
You know who does gallop? The Dothraki.
Nerd! Ayo.
I wanted to ask you, I know how you hate these open-ended, unprompted questions.
It's like a running trope at this point, though. You just throw them at me like unwanted softballs.
What are
like during
some of your fuck yeah, only in America, but not cringeworthy things?
Flamethrowers.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Only in America.
I mean, what other country can you see just willfully like parading those around, right?
Pit smoked beef.
Barbecue is definitely something that I feel
fuck
like
yeah,
is
America.
Yeah, fuck yeah, America. I've heard Romanian barbecue is pretty good, and obviously Korean barbecue, right? Like,
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure all of the barbecue in America, as much as they hate each other, will come together like the Legion
and
of Doom.
stand on that and be like, hey, yo, no, ain't nobody.
They'll be like, you don't even use a ketchup base? The fuck?
What is you doing? Anyway, let's see. What are some other fuck yeah American things? Oh, spinners. Just big ass wheels, period. Right? Like wheels on cars, steering wheels, cars, like just big anything like that's Texas, as they would say in the Netherlands.
The all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, no, that feels purely American. I don't think there's anywhere else that would cake off other than maybe like China.
But fuck yeah, all-you-can-eat buffets.
Yeah. I mean, how else are you gonna get absolutely ripped in the afternoon for no reason and then sober by the time you need to stumble back to your hotel? A decent all-you-can-eat buffet is something that you need to experience at least once. It's a kind of 21st century indulgence I don't think we've really like come to terms with yet.
I also think that you have to eat at enough Chinese buffets that you recognize a bad Chinese buffet.
It's such a first word. No, like listen. If you went back to the 1830s and you told them about all-you-can-eat buffets, they would be like, I'm sorry, what? You'd be like, yeah, no, it costs less than a fucking week's worth of pay. And they're like, a week's worth? Less than a week's worth, sir. Like, and you can eat as much as your stomach can stand.
Who the fuck are you talking to? Oliver Twist?
It's 1830. It's 1830. I mean, the level of expectations can only rise up and crash through. This is Doc.
And Ziggy.
And we are
The Flood.
That's right, your favorite weekly pop culture digest, taking the news happening around you, discussing how it shapes the culture that defines you with our
pop perspective.
Hey, to put that culture in context.
And make the mainstream make sense, because if we don't make sense, we don't make
sense.
Holla!
Hey, how y'all feeling? Welcome back. And if you don't know, now you know. This is the Flood Pod, and you can find us at anywhere on the Flood Pod, and that's on everything.
At the Flood Pod is what he meant to say.
And that's on everything. I said what I said. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. Anywhere. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's Spotify, that's Apple, that's YouTube, that's Patreon. And if you lucky, It might be the OnlyFans one day. No.
Now,
Never.
let me give us a quick rundown, clickbait style, Philip DeFranco, the way we're gonna tell everybody that they need to stay and listen. You know what we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about Taylor Swift, Team USA, murder, Lord of the Rings, communism,
Did Taylor
Mark
Swift
Twain,
murder somebody else in the
AI,
USA?
the X-Men, Naked Gun, and Columbia University.
Hey, but before we do all of that, we gotta give a shout out to our
patrons, Enraged Peacock, and Awkward Silence.
There's the awkward part. A special shout out to y'all for tuning in. Let's, you know how we like to do here. If you don't know how we like to do here, then let's tell you how we like to do.
We like to abuse the algorithm.
And we like to start off with what y'all have been tuning into.
So this week's hit on the algorithm is I Hate It Here by Taylor Swift.
For all the wrong reasons, right? Not that she hates it here for all the wrong reasons. I feel like she hates it here for all
She
the
hates
right
racism and she wants to let you know that she does.
Hey yo, that line, the line, it's enough to like make you pause the record, right? Like you listening and she's singing all bubbly about how like, you know, she just wishes that things could be simpler and that times were different.
If we could go back to any decade, I'd choose the 1830s without all the racists.
Yo, Taylor really feels like one of them girls that is the I was born in the wrong generation kind of girl.
Those lyrics also go, this is what I'm gonna record, and the producer says this line. You gotta fix that one.
I don't even think she needs a producer to check her on that, right? Because she probably wrote it and then was like, 1838. Oh yeah, but I don't want. Like, I feel like this was Taylor letting us know without saying out loud. I hear what the internet says about me too. I don't like those people either. I can't say I don't like those people because they buy a lot of my records.
As far as the actual song goes,
oh, it's trash.
I mean, I like the way she's recording the guitar. I like when there's that like raw recording nature where you can hear the fingertips sliding on the strings.
It's very folky and hokey and not hokey, but hokey. Yeah, it's very folky and hokey, and that's always been my thing about Taylor Swift. I know not all of her songs are like that.
It's
like
journaling on a park bench while hitting your vape at 12:30 night music.
You think Taylor hits vape?
Yes.
Her song with Post Malone, Fortnite, is pretty good. I'm not a Taylor hater, right? But that's not moving the needle for me.
I'm indifferent.
Yeah, you
I know
also,
a few Taylor Swift songs because they were unavoidable, but
not that Taylor is checking, but if Taylor is checking for the Flood Pod, let us know. You know how to casually let us know, Taylor, just like you casually let us know you're not racist by bluntly letting us know that you're not racist. Okay, Taylor, I
her
guess.
next album, she's gonna be like, it's hard to navigate this flood. I wish I had a doctor named Ziggy.
Does that mean we have to, like, you know, start making friendship bracelets?
Well, we already know. We already know that Biden listens.
That's my boy. And he casually let us know, right? That Biden is no casual, son. If you are no casual, then you've probably listened to her new album, but the Dead Poets.
The Dead Poets.
Good job. Hey.
It's not Dead Poets Society.
Hold on.
That's a movie. Robin Williams.
If you're not a casual, then you probably heard her new album, The Tortured Poets Department.
God, that's emo!
Is it emo?
That is emo as
It's very emo. It's very emo. It feels like she watched the Dead Poets Society and was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the girl boss version of that. And
that could be a Panic at the Disco album title.
I can tell you that despite the album title, that it's sold close to 2 million units, or streamed.
Shocker.
Close to 2 million
Shocker.
Units. Yeah, because who didn't see that coming? Who didn't fucking see Taylor Swift blowing the fucking gates off as soon as she dropped the new album, right? She didn't do all of that publicity tour during the NFL, you think Taylor was really watching that game? No, she was just trying to remind y'all that she out here, right? After the world record breaking tour that she just went on, right? Who didn't think she was gonna come through and absolutely sweep when she dropped her new album?
Drake didn't think that.
I was gonna say, however, to make it hip hop, there's a lot of speculation.
Oh, you think we weren't gonna talk about Drake? We're gonna talk about Drake.
There's a lot of speculation that Kendrick hasn't responded yet because him and Taylor share the same manager, apparently, according to Drake, who has just continued his run at being a messy bitch. And in his newest claim, has dropped an AI-generated diss track that his verse wasn't AI, but it features AI versions of Tupac and Snoop Dogg, who is still alive, but AI on this for some reason.
And Snoop Dogg posted a video, and he was just like, what? Huh? Like, it was so funny. It was like he was fucking Blue's Clues. Like somebody was telling him about it. And then he was just like, what do you mean?
I don't appreciate. Look, once again, our opinions don't really matter here, but I will say I don't appreciate Snoop being so vague in his response to this. I'm not saying he has to pick sides. I just think it's a very bold and audacious move.
He was probably high!
Bruv, if I'm still alive and you make an AI-generated version of me to diss somebody, I feel like I'm gonna have some more words to say than huh, who, when, death row, and then drop a single the next day. That's crazy. That's crazy. What fucking timeline do we live in? I'm trying to figure it out, right? Because
Does Death Row count as an independent label now, you think?
I don't know. I don't think so. They're probably,
it's owned by Snoop, so
they're probably under UMG, like every fucking thing else. Which is why Snoop couldn't say anything. It's like, nah, Rick Ross calls that cap. Rick Ross says all of the Drake conspiracy, Mafia Don shit is cap. And those are Minions' opinions.
Well, I mean, if there was anybody I was gonna say would make sure they protect their masters, it's the boss Rick Ross.
So Push-Ups officially dropped on streaming services this week, which the interwebs believe is the last piece in the puzzle that needed to be completed in order to awaken Kung Fu Kenny from his slumber, right? We finally collected all of the keys and now we can challenge the Shaolin Master, right? No. It's funny because at this point, everything is so fake online, nigga. I can't tell what's like grassroots and what's AstroTurf, because a lot of the responses to Drake's AI-generated diss track just feel like so disconnected to me. I'm like,
it is. That's gonna be like he owned it. I'm like, no, he did the literal laziest thing possible.
No, well, like, okay, first of all, can we talk about how willingly academics is gobbling Drake's meat right now? Like, on God, son, every post is Kendrick taking the L, Drake is the god. Y'all know Drake actually wrote and recorded all three of them verses himself. They were just actually AI generated to sound like the other two artists.
I want to put a turntable in front of DJ Academics and say, do the thing.
It's like this. If you was gonna go through all the trouble to write 3 verses and 3 more verses about a nigga,
you're writing a sonnet at that point.
It's not even that. It's funny. That argument is funny, right? But like, I hate that argument because I'm like, y'all are gonna act like there are not plenty of rock songs that are like secretly about other people in the fucking industry. I mean, when Taylor Swift drops the word scooter in a fucking song, Swifties go crazy, right? But like, men making diss tracks to each other is somehow like gay because it's actually just poetry to another man that you hate. It's funny, but like, it's also tired.
Yeah.
And I'm here for the sport. Honestly, I don't want nobody to lose their life over this shit. I don't think it's gonna get to that point, but I do.
Somebody might go bankrupt from it.
do feel like it might end somebody's career. I don't think it's the career that the bots on the internet want to be over, although it is looking at this point very much man versus machine, right? The machine being the industry that is backing Drake, because once again, some of the responses from these shits seem real disconnected from what is actual talent. Because
didn't we say Metro is Nick Fury?
Nigga, the AI shit is trash. I finally listened to it. Like, I know I said I was boycotting it in chat, but I finally listened to it. This shit is trash, bro. Like,
Does it sound like an AI wrote it?
A lot of people are taking the perspective that Drake is trying to use the 8 Mile. Drake is trying to use the 8 Mile approach, right? Where he airs out all of the stuff that Kendrick could use against him before Kendrick uses it against him, right? Like, yeah, so what?
Yeah, I'll dox myself.
Yeah, I mean, which is making reasonable people on the internet go, Drake feels kind of like he's acting a little anxious, don't you think? Like, oh, what are you gonna say about me? Oh, you think you go hard? Ooh, well, I got AI generated versions of Tupac and Snoop. That's how not serious I'm taking you. Even though I dropped one song and let y'all bully me into putting push-ups on a streaming service, even though I wasn't gonna do it at first, right? Like,
what do you think Drake's more threatened by when Kendrick reaches into his belt? A gun or a notebook?
That was corny. Fam. What I am more concerned, or what I think is more pressing here, is the silence from Kendrick, right? Because Kendrick has not even, like, entertained any of it at all since the Like That verse, which has created this weird atmosphere of people going, oh, well, you know, Kendrick called Drake out and hasn't said anything yet, and Push-Ups has been out for, I don't know, depending on who you talk to, 5 days or 3 days. It depends on if you're counting from when it dropped on Spotify or when the AI version leaked. I feel like it is very interesting how quiet Kendrick has been. It seems like everybody in that camp, except for with the exception of TD Punch, right?
And the guy who posts his workout videos.
Those workout videos are from like last year, I think, too. So Kendrick has been like quiet, and all he did was drop a verse, and
he's the boogeyman.
A lot of people think that narrative is corny too, right? But it does. Even Ebro was like, "Look, y'all are saying he's not the boogeyman, but y'all are also saying all he did was drop a verse." Right, like, he's been gone for so long, and then he comes out and drops a verse, and Mr. Morale, alright, and also, y'all are gonna stop with the Mr. Morale slander. It just shows to me that you niggas have never read a book before. Like,
yeah, it's an art piece.
It's an art piece. Like, I'm not trying to be, like, all snooty and shit and be like, get some culture, motherfuckers. Didn't you all like Michael? Like, yeah, either you liked...
Michael wasn't back.
If you didn't like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, then I can see why you was bitching about Michael winning the fucking Grammy over Travis Scott, right? Like, that's how I feel.
Is it
when you
Killer Mike also independent?
Yes, I believe so.
Independent artist winning Grammys,
which is what made Michael such a big deal for him, because I think this is one of his first solo independent albums. But to round it all back to the Kendrick Drake situation, right? Push-Ups is now on streaming.
And it's still mid.
That AI generated this was super cringe, but I mean, so is lots of shit that Drake does, right? In efforts to look cool. It does feel like the Ryan Garcia shit. I don't know if you saw the fight, right? But I mean, Ryan Garcia swept. And in a lot of the pre-fight interviews and conferences, he was not taking his opponent seriously, like, at all. He was bragging about, like, drinking the night before and shit.
So we're
like
going
that.
from verbal blows to physical.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw some of the highlights here, but I can put them up on the screen. Yeah, it was quite a watch. And, you know, all of Ryan Garcia's fans online are like, yeah, you know, they wouldn't have let him box if he was crazy. He was gonna wash anyway. Ooh, the haters can't talk now, that kind of thing.
I mean, from that one, like, interview I saw or heard from him, it sounds like he was in a goddamn South Park episode.
Bro, he really was like, I'm almost certain Ryan Garcia was going crazy. To me, it just feels like, yeah, what do you say to him at this point when you wash like that, right? Like, by round 6.
Yeah, Garcia definitely...
It's very clear
Yeah.
who is in control of this fight. I would say,
Ooh!
yeah,
Yeah, he got him in the chin there pretty bad.
It's about round 6 that
it becomes pretty clear that Garcia is in control of the fight, despite the fact that his sweat probably smells like booze.
And there's apparently controversy, right, that the ref may have been trying to push the fight in Haney's favor for, you know, whatever reasons that may be.
And Garcia still won.
Sports betting, yeah. And
This just sounds hilarious to me. It makes me immediately a Ryan Garcia fan.
as of today, when we were recording, the WBC has stated that Haney will keep his title despite losing the fight to Ryan Garcia, which I'm sure we will be continuing to talk about as we go forward here in the next couple of weeks, because I know people are going to be upset about that.
This dude brags about moonwalking the guy. Moonwalks the guy. When the ref was trying to fix the fight. Like, you know how much you have to beat somebody's ass to beat their ass over a ref who's trying to fix the fight?
Yeah, and it's pretty bad that that guy doesn't get the title. But also, maybe, you know, the WBC just doesn't want a guy who goes on an Andrew Tate podcast and claims that rich people are trying to force celebrities to watch them fuck kids, right? Maybe they don't want that guy being the face of boxing. I mean, it's either Ryan Garcia or Jake Paul at this point, right? Like,
Jake Paul? Oh, it would be Jake. Logan's in WWE. Right.
In more sports news,
Team USA has been announced for the Olympics. And by Team USA, I mean like the only actual US team that we care about in the Olympics, and that would be the basketball team.
yeah, I guess so, because this is the Summer Olympics and they're in France this year.
Yeah, so Team USA is LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker,
Damn.
Anthony
Because
Edwards,
people are going to be like, why'd you say damn for Devin Booker? I mean, damn, period, right? This team is stacked.
Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid,
Stacked.
Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday,
Is this even
Kawhi
fair?
Leonard.
Is this even fair? Is this even fair? Like, not to sound all pro-American and whatnot, not to sound all Amerocentric and whatnot, right? But it seems like...
I mean, the biggest shock to me is that the old heads are playing.
This is a pretty low...
Like,
okay.
LeBron hasn't done the Olympics in
If it wasn't
12
for-
years.
If it wasn't for the age, though, right? Like, this would be a pretty fucking loaded team. It just seems
no, this team is insane.
Yeah.
Like, this team would never lose in the NBA.
If
Like,
this team doesn't win Olympic gold, I think it's really time for us to reconsider America's standing in the
or
global-
really elevate where Luka or Jokic are. I saw this meme where there's this old LeBron commercial where it's like older LeBron talking to like high school LeBron.
Yeah.
And the meme caption was like, find a man named Nikola Jokic and convince him to pursue horse racing.
Wow. So I
I
mean,
do kind of feel bad for LeBron though, because like he's had to deal with all history, like talent throughout his career.
I mean,
Like, he played 4 of his fucking finals against that Warriors team.
yeah, so you feel bad for him, but I'm like, that's what Brian asked for, right? Like, it's like Kendrick coming out and being like, hey, yo, I want to smoke with Drake. Like, this nigga has more hits than Michael Jackson. I want to know who's the better lyricist.
Michael Jordan
right?
won 2 of his titles against a team where their best player was a white guy. Or a child molester. It's one or the other.
Are you saying Larry Bird is a child molester?
No, I'm saying Karl Malone is.
Oh. I forgot about that. I was supposed to be like, whoa, are you dropping some Henny on Larry Bird?
So why would me make fun of Larry the Legend?
I'm just saying out of context, that was crazy.
There's more than one white guy that's played in the NBA.
Hey, fair enough. I didn't have that kind of shit coming from Steve Nash is all I'm saying.
Not Steve Nash either! Steve Nash is Canadian. Besides, we'd have to play against Steve Nash anyway.
Karl Malone's not white though. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not the point. The point here is that Team America is definitely going to police the NBA in this year's Olympic basketball.
Oh, and I forgot Anthony Davis.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I forgot about Anthony Davis.
I mean, look at who else is on the team, right? Speaking about...
I mean, Steph Curry, as Stephen A. Smith would put it, the greatest shooter God has ever created.
Speaking of basketball, the WNBA draft also happened this week.
And the NBA playoffs have kicked off.
So in WNBA draft news, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese both made headlines this week with their,
Caitlin Clark expectedly drafted number 1 overall to Indiana, and she's signing a $20 million endorsement deal with Nike, which is a lot more than her $70-something thousand WNBA salary.
Hey, my man came for the salary though. I mean, but listen,
And the thing is like, everybody is up in arms about the salary. Well, watch the games. Go to some WNBA games. When the demand is there and the revenue comes in, the players' contracts will go up. I mean, they are negotiated, I'm assuming, much like the Basketball Players Association. The Women's Basketball Players Association also has a 51% revenue share. So, for the 450 WNBA players that are sharing that 50% of the revenue, her rookie contract only gets her $70,000. If you want WNBA players to make more money, watch the games, buy tickets, buy jerseys.
Also, like, let's keep it funky. The real bread and butter has always been in the endorsements anyway. It was only just recently that NBA players started making crazy contracts like that on a regular basis too.
Yeah,
right?
like that.
I mean, let's
NBA, like,
not sit
audience,
there.
if you have athletic children, push them towards basketball. No better return on investment. Also, they won't have CTE.
I was gonna say baseball. I mean, like those contracts.
You have to be, like,
been crazy.
insanely good at baseball to get the, like,
Absolutely. But I mean, like, come on, like,
you could be...
do you think bench sitters on the fucking Pelicans is raking in much more than what Caitlin Clark is bringing in?
Look up what the NBA minimum salary is. It's over $1 million.
For every player? Yeah. 1.1.
Yep. The minimum NBA salary is $1.1 million.
The minimum WNBA salary is $62,000. So they gave Caitlin just over the minimum.
They gave... So,
That's
the
crazy if you think about it.
Hold on. Everybody chill. Rookie contracts are structured in the collective bargaining agreement, so she's getting the same as any other number 1 pick would have gotten, and the same it cascades down. Every pick has their salary determined by their pick order.
Okay.
So, it doesn't matter like, that's the contract. That is the most or least that any team could
For
could
players
pay.
with 3 or more years experience, that number jumps to 74,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they gave her around what somebody with experience would get at minimum.
Yeah.
For a rookie, which isn't terrible. But if you want Caitlin Clark to be making more money, which I guess is a moral decision you have to, sit with, then watch the games. I mean,
I think a really clever name that I heard for her that is definitely still offensive is the Queen of Threes.
can you explain to our casuals why that is an offensive name?
So Caitlin Clark shoots a lot of 3-pointers. Also, look at her.
That's fucked. That's fucked. Can we talk about that reporter, though? That cringy-ass reporter? Was like, yeah, if you do that with me, baby, we'll be good.
Alright, so my reaction to that is like, that's sexual harassment. I'm like, no, that dude's just super fucking awkward and cringe and should be shamed.
I mean, we can argue that it's sexual harassment, but this is gonna sound like something a man would say, but it's such low-level sexual harassment that, yeah, I think a shaming is really all that.
Yeah, I think the public shaming is enough.
That lady on the internet that's like, you need to leave. Can we hire her to just be in places and check people who do cringy shit? Like, because she definitely was needed there, bro. Like, that guy, why would you say that out loud in a room? First of all, why? Yeah, let's stop there. Why would you say that out loud? 1. 2, why would you say that out loud on your professional job where you make money? You rely on that bitch for a livelihood. And you look Caitlin Clark in her face in front of a room full of other people and said that icky shit. That is wild.
Like, the question about asking about the heart
It's
is fine.
We could have stopped there. But the whole...
Like, why do you do the heart? Oh, I do it to my family. That's cool.
Nah, that was mad, where's my hug energy.
Yeah, when it went beyond that.
That was where's my hug energy. He was like, come on, Caitlin, come on, let's be friends. Now that we're all professionals here. See, that's what Ryan Garcia was talking about. And we'll get to talking about that and a hell of a lot more right after this break.
Break!
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back. You know what I feel like it's time for?
What do you think? What do you think?
Let me respond to my question with another question.
What?
When you have a stack of papers, what holds them together?
A binder clip?
A staple.
A stack of papers?
Yeah.
It's like I'm just being...
You're being purposefully obtuse!
I'm being purposeful. Because when you say it's stacked, I'm thinking, I don't know what your stacks look like, but my stacks... Anyway, a staple?
A staple. We had staple bits. I feel like this part of the podcast should be chock full of them. So, how about we start with one of our favorites and go with Florida versus...
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
Florida man's.
Making this the most Florida story of the week.
Everybody.
Dun, 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 dun. News break.
So, I have 2 for you. Just 2.
That's simple. I feel like that's enough. Any more than 2 feels obsessive or excessive sometimes. But I mean, it's hit me with it.
You're gonna know probably both of these. But, man says uncle was eaten by cannibals in New Guinea.
That's the headline?
Yes.
That's the headline.
Yes.
They don't have anything else going on in Florida right now. Is that Florida? Is that Florida?
This is Pennsylvania, and that man was President Biden.
What a twist!
What? What a twist. What a twist. Yeah, no, was not expecting that to be President fucking Biden. President Biden said his dad, old man Steve Rogers, said his dad was eaten by cannibals in New Guinea.
Lost for words, Joe Biden's tale about cannibals bemuses Papua New Guinea residents. President suggests that his Uncle Bozy was eaten by cannibals.
Oh, Uncle.
Part U.S. effort to build Pacific ties, says local expert.
That's like, wait, in an attempt to build ties with the locals down there, that sounds like that one rich socialite's nephew or whatever who died on that expedition in South America. Oh God, who is it I'm thinking of?
Biden spoke about his uncle, Second Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan Jr., while campaigning in Pittsburgh on Wednesday, describing how Uncle Bozy had flown single-engine planes as reconnaissance during the war. Biden said, quote, "He got shot down in New Guinea," adding that they never found the body because there used to be a lot of cannibals, for real, in that part of New Guinea.
Is that what Joe said? That totally sounds like something
Yes,
Joe
said that.
It was a Rothschild that I was thinking, and it was in New Guinea. It was in New Guinea. So Joe thinks his uncle died like one of them fucking Rothschilds did. That's funny. That's
The article does go on to say that cannibalism was practiced by some communities in the past in specific context, such as eating a deceased relative out of respect.
Michael Clark Rockefeller, a member of the prominent Rockefeller family, met a tragic fate during an expedition in the Asmat region of southwest Dutch New Guinea, now part of Indonesia or a province of South Papua. Right? So
about 79,000 U.S. soldiers from that war remain unaccounted for. About 79,000 U.S. soldiers remain unaccounted for from that region from the Second World War.
Long story short, if you're rich,
they're spread
white,
from Southeast Asia to the Korean Peninsula and Europe. What is Biden implying? All 79,000 of them were eaten?
I mean, ever since Biden told that story about him and Corn Pop, I just believe he'd just be telling old man tales. You know, we used to leave the razor blades in the water so they would get rusted. You would get tetanus when we cut you. That's how.
But yo, putting razor blades in the boots like episode 1 of Fallout?
That was shady. That was shiesty. That was like a whole different kind of petty, bro. Like, I've never seen that kind of like hate before. Do you think Maximus did that shit?
I think the guy that did it got his comeuppance. Have you finished it yet?
Oh, so you binged the shit.
I watched it over several nights.
So you binged it. No, I'm taking it step by step. I just finished episode 3. I'm on to episode 4. I will probably pick up the pace here though a little bit because as happened with X-Men, there will be spoilers because the internet forgives none and has no empathy.
UAL has started taking it very seriously now.
What, the spoilers?
Yeah, they're like, we are really policing this shit now, y'all.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, bro. I hopped on Threads, right, and got the whole fucking Earth is a Ghetto spoiler, and I was like, oh, great. Now, I guess that's an inside joke I'm gonna have to try and avoid until I sit down and actually watch the episode.
It is great, though. Now you can insult literally any human by saying they live in a galactic ghetto.
Yeah, sorry. The Milky Way.
The Milky Way. You can just say, like, shut the fuck up. You live in the Milky Way ghetto.
Yeah, we live in... That's why there are no aliens. Because we live in the fucking ghetto. And they lock their doors.
And they haven't come to gentrify it yet.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. That whole episode was wild.
We'll get to it.
Well, we're not. Oh, that's right. We're still doing Florida.
Second one. governor institutes law to establish history of communism class for students K through 12.
Shout out to the comrade. No, that's crazy. That is like when the Church of Satan like puts up statues of fucking like Baphomet in places like that. Just be like, what? First Amendment, bro. Second Amendment, bro. No, I guess it's Third Amendment, right? Because the Second Amendment.
The First Amendment is like a catch-all. It's like freedom of the press, speech, religion.
Yeah, so First Amendment, bro. First Amendment, bro. Baphomet going up. We paid for it. We want the kids to be able to pray to Baphomet too, you know?
We donated to your Republican campaign for this right.
It's gross.
That would be the most Church of Satan shit imaginable.
Yeah,
to like give a donation through an LLC to a Republican campaign for a fucking monument space.
But like, alright, like, I feel like even though this is Florida versus everybody, you know how we do here on the floor, we gotta put it all in context, right? And in context...
Well, you have to guess.
This can't be Florida.
This is Florida.
It is Florida. Hey, shout out to the comrade, though. I see you, my guy. He was like... Hey,
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signs bill requiring history of communism to be taught in lower grade classes.
Wait, Ron signed this bill?
Ron signed this.
Alright, I feel this is sketchy now. This is too good to be... This is now entering in too good to be true territory.
He announced the passing of this bill surrounded by survivors of the Bay and Pigs invasion.
It's funky. It's funky. It's getting funky.
Do I really need to read anything else besides Ron announcing this next to survivors of the Bay of Pigs?
So they're not going to be teaching the history of communism.
They're going to tell you for an hour that communism sucks.
They are going to be doing some Red Scare propaganda. Is what this is. Socialism is bad. All that workers' rights bullshit, like nobody needs to be talking about any of that. All you guys need to know is that we, the government, will take care of you, but you don't need the government either because you are a good citizen. And that's all that matters at the end of the day, is you not being a good citizen or choosing to fall in line and pick yourself up by your bootstraps, which don't have razor blades in them, by the way. All I'm saying. Go for it.
Well, that's all I had for Florida versus everybody.
So, with that being said, though, as the narrative continues to be pushed that the war for education is on, right? I mean, besides the war versus Iran and Palestine, which is a whole lot in itself, because now Iran has entered the chat. The war in Ukraine versus Russia, right? We got that one right now, and in the U.S. it really does seem like, and it's starting to feel like, with all the headlines about Gen Z not being able to read, Gen Alpha can't read, these kids can't pay attention, test scores are down.
Can't even write in cursive.
Alright, Grandpa, chill out. They can't write in cursive. What do you want them to learn how to sign checks next? God damn. Fam.
You know what's wild about checks? You have to spell out the numbers.
Do you think these kids can spell? They don't even know what
like that. The whole concept of having to spell out the numbers to me is so bizarre.
How many of them do you think know that the eggplant emoji is actually a vegetable? But fam, no, for real. The war on education is real, and with them passing bills like this, like I said, it was cool at first until you mentioned that Ron was doing it, and yeah, some people listening will be like, why is it bad because Ron's doing it? And it's like, obviously, there's a narrative that's going to be pushed. Like, can we stop pretending like the Republicans aren't pushing a narrative? I hate this idea, right? It's like the Drake
I wonder
shit.
if this class is going to cover how corrupt the Romanov aristocracy was.
It's literally like the Drake shit. The Republicans have taken the Drake or Drake is taking the Republican tactic of acting like he's the one being bullied. They're like, no, we're pushing our agenda because you're pushing your agenda. Okay, buddy? We're just standing
I wonder if they're going to
ground.
tell
It's
anything
like
about the
castle
history
doctrine.
of China from 1850 to 1950.
No, but they will talk about that uprising where the guy was run over or not, depending on whether it's, you believe the Mandela effects or not. And listen, this isn't the Alex Jones podcast, but even Alex Jones acknowledges that Hitler is wrong, which has got some of his core base upset, which, I might make Alex Jones question how he sleeps at night. Maybe, I don't know. After Sandy Hook, I can't imagine that he sleeps at all at night. But
if he is, it's in a 1-star motel because he can't afford anything better.
fam, like, you don't think at all that it's a little funky, a little weird, the way they've defunded, like, there's almost no art programs left in school, and a lot of people
art is gay.
could question why you need the arts and humanities, but then I would like to remind you of what the word arts and humanities mean, right? Like, these are the things that teach our kids about expression and empathy and a lot of the problems we see with some of our, elders and people who are more
regulating your emotions is important because if you can't, you do dumb shit.
Mature than us, right? They don't show a lot of that maturity that they claim to speak of, even though they preach like these stoic alpha narratives. And not just that, the current structure under which they teach kids does not seem to be effective at engaging them and preventing them from wanting to be anything other than
trans
TikTok. Femboys of the like, God. No, look, I feel like it's weird that you're not trying to engage with it at all, right? Like, because the state of education in America, I feel like, especially with the focus on the ban of TikTok,
right? It's hard for me to put it in perspective without sitting in that classroom, because when you and I were at South River was a really, looking back at it, was a really good school.
It's funny that you think that. I don't think a lot of those teachers really did their job at engaging with trying to push for enthusiasm the way that an educator should. I think that was the beginning of what we are currently seeing right now when it comes to this manufactured and surgically sterile approach at education.
I guess maybe I feel that way from my own natural curiosity.
Yeah,
which would be a personal bias which clouds my own perception towards what other people would talk about this experience.
I don't even necessarily think that it's that. I think we were part of the last generation who was really geared for that kind of enthusiasm for learning, right? We got that in our early years, and by the time we had hit high school, is what I'm saying, the process for education became the manufactured clock in, clock out. I mean, I
had a keyboard class in high school.
I mean, it's
that's
always
probably
been
something that's done a lot earlier, if at all, because kids just learn the fucking keyboard. And by keyboard, I mean the QWERTY.
Computer, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, right, we are also looking at the transition of what is important and what is in demand as far as education goes, right? Like, we should be shifting a lot more to technology-based and centered critical thinking, moving into the technological age the way that we are. But I also feel like we are kind of losing the soul of education, if that doesn't sound corny.
I think one of the main things that we have to do in teaching critical thinking in the 21st century is realize that we don't have to come up with the answer. The answer is out there. Because the internet is fucking huge.
It's vast.
It is learning how to find the right answers and figuring out what your problem even is.
And like, you know, the whole reason I bring this up is because the people who are focused on the way education is being conducted right now are the Republicans. And when I say Republicans, like, I don't necessarily mean your average everyday voter, right? But I do mean, like, the Republican political machine is using education to push their agenda, right? And we have seen this constant, them projecting, right? This constant projecting from them, where they are accusing trans people of pushing an agenda, Democrats of pushing an agenda, right? The Black Lives Matter movement of pushing an agenda. Meanwhile, you know, Trump brought fucking Betsy DeVos in, who completely gutted the American education system, right? And, you know, funnel all this money into charter schools and things of the like.
Did you know that her family owns the Orlando Magic?
That's what I'm saying. Dog, rich people don't want your kids to be able to read.
Or to win NBA championships, apparently.
This is why I thought we should do this show, right? Because it does seem like in this age of information, right, the information overload, it is very easy to forget what happened. But like, it has been trending for months now that Gen Z and Gen Alpha can't read. The last presidential cabinet we had in office specifically went out of their way to dismantle the education system. But we want to blame it on COVID and virtual learning, right? Like, that's what I'm saying, right? And when Ron DeSantis passes bills to do ultimately what will probably all, you know, total up to is just fucking more propaganda, right? Against
I was about to say,
systems.
the history of communism for me was covered in my AP Euro class.
And how well do you think they covered it? Like, how unbiased do you think they covered it?
Miss Darnley was really good. Miss Darnley was a great teacher.
So you feel like you got a fair assessment of what a communist political system looks like in reality, right? In totality.
I think I was given the accurate portrayal of the facts to make
a critical analysis all on your own. I mean, that's good, right?
That's what different than understanding what that society was like, though.
Do you think that that is what Ron is going to do with this bill that he has introduced?
Nah, I think he's trying to indoctrinate them kids.
Do you think they will let Prager you do the videos on what communism is and the communist structure? Because I'm just saying, like, I don't know, man.
When you go communist, your house will become a gulag.
Anyway.
And I'm not saying we'll move you to a gulag. We will bring the gulag to you.
I can't.
Next staple bit.
Rolling right along.
I told you about a Mark Twain quote that I stumbled upon. The quote goes, "Get your facts straight, and then distort them at your leisure."
In reference, look, I mean, that feels very fitting in comparison to what we were just talking about.
And you were about to say in reference to, and at this point, I could just vaguely gesture.
I mean, listen, when you know the facts.
But you told me about a Mark Twain story that you heard about.
Oh, this, you really?
Yes, because I have questions. So, tell them, Doc.
We were in chat, and you mentioned that Mark Twain quote, and I was like, ooh, you want to know something funny? The other day, I learned that Mark Twain and his boys randomly decided to join the Confederacy when the war started up, just to get away from the wives. Ha 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 ha, right? And I felt conflicted. Cue the Kendrick. I remember he was conflicted. Because, you know I read, right? Like, it's not a brag, but a humble brag, right? Because, you know, Gen Z can't read. I like me some Mark Twain, right? I just downloaded Letters from Earth, right? Or Letters to Earth, right? The memoir and short stories or whatever.
Yep.
I like Mark Twain enough to know that Mark Twain is not his real name.
Nope.
I don't remember what his real name is. Right?
Me neither.
But I do feel weird. This is like finding out that like H.P. Lovecraft.
His first name was Samuel. Samuel Clemens. I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm. For the lulz, though, like you join the side fighting for slavery for the lulz, and then you write Huckleberry Finn, right?
All right, now I had 2 questions. Now I have 3.
It's like, it's giving me Quentin Tarantino vibes, right? Like, it feels like, yeah, Quentin Tarantino just saying nigger in his movies all the time for no fucking reason. Like, and then he wonders why Spike Lee is mad at him. And Spike Lee is like, I counted. You said it 242 times, Quentin. And he's like, God, Spike, you really counted? You didn't think Spike was gonna count? He probably likes your artistic style, but then you come out and you do wild shit, and then you wonder why you don't get invited to the fucking cookout. And like, you wonder why black people are like, alright, just stop fucking inviting white people to the cookout, y'all. Like, it always do wild shit.
I have 3 questions. Was the booze free?
I mean, I feel like it was probably prescribed in rations at that point, right? Because they still thought alcohol is like a numbing agent. Also, at that point, alcohol was like not what we think of it as alcohol today. It was shit that would make you go blind if you were drinking too much of it. So yeah.
How long was he there?
Till the war like really like kicked off and got serious, and then I think they went AWOL or some shit like that.
Okay, so he was there at the
or
beginning.
all got like dishonorably discharged or discharged some kind of. But yeah, when shit got like serious, they were like, oh yeah, no, it's time to go.
Did he write Huckleberry Finn before or after?
I don't know. And that's what makes it questionable, right? I read that story and I was like, man, the Confederacy.
Because I could also see this as like, fuck it, we can get drunk on these like horrible people's dime before they lose everything else. Let's do it.
Nah, man, because like it feels like you either look at Mark Twain like Bill Burr or like I was gonna say or like Kramer, right? But it's not like
He's definitely closer to Bill Burr. I feel like if Bill Burr and Jon Stewart did the fusion dance, you would have Mark Twain.
He's definitely not Kramer. Whatever the fuck they got.
You see, the reason I had you bring this up was because I wanted to know if this was a soft move or a boss move.
Moving on, it's time for Soft Move or Boss Move.
Joining the military in the middle of a war to get away from your wives and girlfriends, you're asking me if that's a soft move or a boss move. That's like such
You see, but Mark Twain, he could have been doing some method acting shit.
He could have been writing bangers. Instead, he's doing pull-ups down in Tuscaloosa, right? Tuscaloosa.
Personally, Considering what we know about Mark Twain,
That was a Kendrick reference too. I don't even think you got that. I feel like that went over your
I
head.
feel like it did. Yeah, it did.
Doing pull-ups down in Tuscaloosa. Anyway, I don't think it's that deep. I don't think.
I think this is fucking hilarious.
You think it's a boss move?
I think this is absolutely fucking hilarious, especially when they were like, "Oh wait, y'all are serious? All right, we're done."
It reminds me of that guy who got arrested just to get away from his wife because she kept nagging him. I don't know if you remember that. It went viral a couple of years ago. It's pretty. Or that dude that convinced his wife that he was deaf for like 80 years just so he didn't have to hear her talk.
No, hear me out, right? So he goes undercover. He drains their financial resources and dumps their morale by taking away their booze, and then proceeds to ditch and then write anti-Confederate propaganda.
I mean, that kind of. It really depends on how you read Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer.
Who's the funny one in Huckleberry Finn? That's the question.
It really depends. This is the same way Quentin Tarantino movies go.
Do you pause when you read it out loud?
Do you
not question why he's named Injun Joe?
Did it have to be called Dead Nigger Storage? Did Quentin have to say it 4 times?
What movie was that?
It was fucking Pulp Fiction.
Jesus
you don't
Christ.
fucking remember
I have not
that?
seen Pulp Fiction in too long.
Is there a sign on my garage that says Dead Nigger Storage? Yes. Yeah. No, that was Quentin. Everybody's favorite foot fetish fanatic. Say that
As
5
opposed to
times.
everybody's not favorite Dan Schneider?
I think the internet overwhelmingly chooses Quentin Tarantino over Dan Schneider. I mean, I know Dan Schneider brought us such great hits such as Drake and Josh and, fucking Keenan.
Not you, Drake!
Keenan and Kel, right? And, like, all of Nickelodeon's hits. But, I mean, like, Kill Bill probably washes, like, all of that, except for All of That, right? I don't know if Dan Schneider had his hands in All That.
He did. That sounds... Pause!
Who's to say whether I did that on purpose or not? Dan Schneider, no Dan Schneider.
No Diddy.
Somebody online said it was corny to be saying no Diddy, right? And no Epstein. And I'm just like, y'all don't want us to have any fun. We can't play pause. We can't do no homo. We can't do no Diddy.
How else are we going to be straight?
And homophobic. In a playful way. Playfully homophobic.
Let us do no homo the way you guys get to use the other F word.
Are you equating no homo to that?
I'm saying, like, if they get to say it, we should have our thing to say, which is no homo.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's giving Chappelle energy. I don't know how this argument is supposed to stand.
It's not.
Since we were talking politics, though, let me ask you about this argument. There are reports coming out now that RFK Jr.'s candidacy may be hurting Trump's run more than Biden's in a surprising new poll conducted by... Hold on. A new NBC News poll found that it looks like RFK Jr.'s independent presidential run may potentially hurt Trump more than it does Biden. A new NBC poll found that in a 1-to-1, it looks like Trump may be beating Joe Biden 46 to 44%, which is a little bit concerning, right? But when you throw in RFK Jr., the numbers look like Biden tops Trump, no pun intended, at 39% to 37%, with Kennedy taking 13% away and Jill Stein at 3%, with Cornel West coming in at 2%. Right? I
don't get it. Like, I get that he's a Kennedy, but he's not handsome. That's like the whole Kennedy thing.
Yeah, no, I can't seem to find the survey size of the poll, which is, a bit concerning. And it's
like even the young one in the House of Representatives is cute.
Wow. It is so, you can always take poll numbers with a grain of salt, right? I do think the narrative that is being pushed here is that's the interesting point. I'm not necessarily concerned with the poll numbers because as we saw with the Hillary Clinton thing, like polls don't matter at the end of the day. I do think this narrative is interesting though. It reminds me of when Bloomberg came in to take some of the heat off Biden. Do you now, tinfoil hat time, do you think that RFK Jr. is doing some fucking Trojan horse shit and sliding in and trying to ease off some of the voters from Trump, right? And be looking like the independent, reasonable choice, right? Because he's still saying some semi-weird, like, fringe things, right? He's not as wild as Donald, right?
You know who I think is going to vote for RFK?
QAnon casuals.
People who don't really pay attention to the news, look disenfranchised at Biden and Trump, and then look a little bit farther down and be like, Kennedy? I guess I'll vote for Kennedy.
It's QAnon casuals, bro, because, like, you may not remember, but RFK Jr. is part of that whole QAnon narrative, right? Like, they've been...
JFK Jr.
So, RFK Jr. is...
No! They're different!
It's also RFK Jr., right? Like,
did JFK Jr. get killed, too?
They think he knows where JFK Jr. is, right? And they think that's why he's running. So
God, they really all got fucking capped. Holy shit. The last Kennedy standing is Leon.
I'm trying to tell you. Nerd! It's an interesting narrative they're pushing. And I do wonder if it is like some Trojan horse shit the same way Bloomberg was and cleared the room for Biden to become, the real Democratic nominee.
God, that was so annoying because he was like literally dead last.
It was a crazy play though, and listen, y'all can say what you want, but we all know if you go back and look at that shit, it was wild.
How much do you think of that money was actually, now if you think that he was really just put in to divert away?
Yes, because
from Bernie,
Biden was
how much money do you think Bloomberg put in himself versus how much of it was just fundraised so he could do it?
I would be interested to see how much Bloomberg has contributed to Biden and the Democrats at this point. It wasn't to take attention away from Bernie. It was to take heat off of Biden. Because remember, they were all on their socialist wave, really trying to like tank in on the billionaires, and it gave them a fucking target because Joe Biden was the target beforehand. They were like, yeah, no, what the fuck is you even doing on this stage? You and Barack really wasn't banging for the country like that. We out here, we got Trump because of you. It's y'all fault we in this mess anyway. And Joe was stumbling, right? Like Joe was in there, like he was facing off against Corn Pop again. Like, oh man, I ain't got no razor blades.
We were about one vote away from having Bernie Sanders' dank meme stash having a blue check mark.
Do you feel where I'm coming from? Though? Do you think that maybe this is the Bloomberg for Donald Trump?
I don't think RFK Jr. matters.
You don't think it'll shift you don't think this will be an independent?
No, I don't think this is going to be
scales enough.
I don't think this is going to be a Ralph Nader Ross Perot moment. No,
because 46 to 44% is a little too close for comfort for me, right? And all
I know is that one person is going to vote for Mickey Mouse. At least one.
How obtuse and contrary. I mean, we are in the...
It's an American tradition.
This is also...
It's like electoral's Bobby Bonilla Day.
This is also the year. We are in the middle of Trump trial season, right?
Which as of right now, is going on the Stormy Daniels case And since it is the weekend, they have just finished jury selection, and they are set to do opening remarks tomorrow. So honestly, as of right now, not that much to report on. Except that it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's already a fucking circus.
We're going to get way too many details about his sex life.
I don't understand how they're going to pick a jury for this. They are going to have to lock these people in sensory deprivation tanks because there's no way they're gonna have to like bring them food like fucking. Them reading out their tweets from like 8 years ago saying how fucking stupid Donald is with Donald right there. Like, man, one juror was like, that was a bad one. That's primetime TV right there, buddy. This is gonna OJ trial.
Like this
Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard.
Like
this Donald Trump Stormy Daniels shit, bro. Oh
like,
my god.
As far as like spectacle, scandalous trials, this is clearly number one.
That's what I'm saying.
Like this is the one that should be the media circus. The other one should be like nitpicked surgically. This one, media circus.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be impossible.
The National Enquirer is involved.
They're
literally
going to have to lock those jurors up in Guantanamo Bay in order to keep them from being any kind of party.
We are not waterboarding jurors.
Oh my god, bro. Trump would want them waterboarded after hearing those tweets, right?
But yes, the jury has been selected. Opening arguments are set to happen tomorrow. And possible the first witness
you facing a jury
testimony
trial
as well.
Can you imagine you facing a jury trial, but before you even get to the trial, you have to sit through a roast session? Because that's essentially what they did to you, man, right? Oh man, Donald got to feel like Drake at this point, right? 20v1 is not fair.
Put your hands up and show that you actually care.
Hey yo, how far out of the realm of possibility do you think we are from Donald Trump picking Drake as his vice president?
Can Drake even be vice president? He's not a natural born citizen.
I don't know though. I don't know if he was born in Canada or not.
Because you have to be a natural born citizen even like with the potential of assuming the role of
I don't
president.
know if Drake was born in Canada. Oh yeah, no, he was born in Canada.
So yeah, he can't pick Drake.
But it's also fucking Donald Trump, goddammit.
He can
you think he cares? Do you think he cares? But you think Donald is Team Kendrick? Absolutely not. There is no way
he
Donald
can pick Kanye.
No, he wouldn't because Kanye is Team Kendrick, and therefore, ergo,
but
Donald has to be
Kanye
Team Drake.
is Team Hitler. So...
And Alex Jones is not, so does that mean Alex Jones is also Team Drake?
Sure.
Alex Jones is definitely.
Yeah.
He thinks Kendrick is way too militant. Thinks we gonna be alright. And King Kunta is, Black Lives Matter.
And clearly he doesn't give a fuck about children, so...
Yeah, definitely Team Drake.
Joe's like, alright, I'm gonna step aside. Kamala, you got this. Pick your VP. And she immediately goes, yes, is this Kung Fu Kenny? She would also call Drake.
Yeah, no, if it's Kamala, then...
Can you imagine Drake sitting there with two phones, both of them on hold in front of him, and he's like...
One red, one blue.
Yeah.
Yo, disgusting. Disgusting, you're corny. Alright, next one.
I am going to say that we should take a break.
Break!
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's time for media stuff.
Media update.
So, do you want to start with the good or the bad?
Let's start with the ugly.
Whew! Good times.
Listen, you was right. That's why you my co-host, because you already knew what man, that shit looked like trash, dog.
Steph Curry took 2 L's this week.
Fam, I don't know what they was thinking, but that show, that the Good Times animated series reboot, I guess if you want to call it, almost don't got any resemblance to the original Good Times, other than the fact that they both take place in Chicago, right?
The original Good Times is all like, we got it rough, but we'll make the best of what we got, right?
The original Good Times was a story about, an endearing story about a family who was trying to uplift themselves throughout the poverty of 1970s Chicago, right? I believe 1970.
So Shameless before Shameless.
Yeah, 1974. No, nothing like Shameless, sir. This was like Cosby's, but in the hood, right? Like, this was the kind of show that showed a positive narrative of whole black ghetto life, right? Because at this point, you know, the only resemblance we had to that were stereotypes and blaxploitation
and a
films.
Raisin in the Sun.
A Raisin in the Sun if he was cultured enough. But in 1974, a show aired on network television, created by Mike Evans and Norman Lear and Eric Monty, that revolutionized the way America would see black life in America. And nor does the rest of black ass internet, feel like this reboot does the show any kind of justice to carry the same moniker as the original TV show.
And when you started giving me your scathing review, my first thought was, why would Steph put his name on this?
Why? Why would he put his name on it? I don't know.
Somebody who so carefully curates their public image puts his name on this. The guy that does a game show about mini golf.
It looks like Norman Lear and Seth MacFarlane. So Norman Lear is the only one from the original series that is attached to this, I believe. Seth MacFarlane is also attached to it. So, you know, this is a Family Guy ilk. Which is why...
layup jokes all over the place.
Which is why it has almost no resemblance to the original Good Times. Nor should we expect
1 through 3 of Family Guy were so good.
The 10-episode series, the 10-episode animated reboot of the original 1970s Good Times show is being produced by Steph Curry and Unanimous Productions alongside Norman Lear and Seth MacFarlane. All the 10 episodes are on Netflix as of now. It is starred, and it does have some notable fucking names to it, like JB Smoove, Yvette Nicole Brown, Jay Farrow, and it's like, so these are people who we trust, right?
And like, I just keep thinking, I'm like,
Slick
all
Johnson.
of this talent put together, like, how big was the check and how poor was the communication?
The execution seems to be terrible. Currently, it is sitting at a 3.6 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't know what, like the Rotten Tomatoes or the Metacritic score.
And you said it is still better than, or the Society of Magical Negroes.
I mean, anything is probably better than that. I haven't seen, nor will I watch. I don't know. I might fuck around and watch an episode of the Good Times animated reboot, but the
internet has certainly not been kind.
I cannot condone it. Not when we sit in the same breath and space as X-Men 97. No, I just cannot. It does not make sense to me how that show can be saying all of the things while also handling all of the criticism, and then fucking they decide to do.
I'm wondering why the fuck they're doing this.
Tube up your butt, you funnel the beer in.
I can't believe you've done this.
No, I don't know what I expected.
Apparently, there are talks about rebooting Lord of the Rings with Peter Jackson.
Rebooting Lord of the... For what? This is what I mean. Like, why did we reboot Good Times? Why did we reboot Good Times? You know, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot thing, that was cool, right? Because it was a new perspective. It was a whole different way to tell the story. That's fine. I didn't feel great about it, but it felt like enough to at least sit down and watch.
I mean, some reboots are great. Look at the new Masters of the Universe reboot. Those last 2 seasons have been fucking awesome.
What about Lord of the Rings, though, at this point? Because didn't they just do a Lord of the Rings
They did the
spin-off?
Lord of the Rings Rings of Power series, which is about Galadriel and the 9 rings. And the 3 rings for the Elven Kings, the 7 for the Dwarven Lords, and 9 for the Realms of Men.
So, it's a series about the rings being formed, right? Wait, so... Did they feel like that did well enough for them to reboot what is widely considered the, like, just probably the most perfect book-to-movie adaptation that has ever been produced?
Yeah, no, there's not a single Lord of the Rings book fan that I've ever met that is, like...
Disappointed.
That is disappointed in those movies.
Right?
Like, it's...
Harry Potter fans, Blade Runner fans, like, name it, you name
Harry
it.
Potter fans even have shit to pick about. Like Lord of the Rings, everybody's like,
shit.
Yeah, they kind of nailed it.
Ready Player One was, like, fan service in literature form. Even those fans found something to complain about when the movie came out.
Like, the thing, I mean, that actually doesn't surprise me because they didn't fan service correctly.
But why now?
Like, there's a few things. One, as far as technological cinema is concerned,
Lord of the Rings was pretty ahead of its time.
Also, so much of it was done the real way.
Yeah.
That, like, sure, what are you going to add by
give it the Marvel
faking
treatment?
the things that they filmed in the original one?
It is like when Disney and Lucasfilms went through and remastered all of, like, yeah, that is literally what the reboot
well, the remastering of the original Star Wars, I think, was fine. They needed visual touch-up.
I guess, right? Maybe, but
like, why remake? Like I said it when we were talking it in the chat. Like, the Lord of the Rings production still holds records for, like, the most demanding shit that people have ever done in movie production.
So why make Hollywood do that again at a time where Hollywood is, like, on fucking a respirator, dog? They barely made it out of the writer's strike.
Like,
and you're telling me
what else can Peter Jackson do with this story? You're getting the same director too? Like,
that's crazy, bro. Yeah, no, that doesn't even make sense. It literally, it's wild because on top of that,
Peter Jackson didn't even want to do the Hobbit trilogy.
When you look at the budget too that kind of movie demands, it does, okay, like, we also talked about this, right? Like, it makes sense as to why smaller budget movies aren't being made, but what Hollywood needs right now are hungry directors who are willing to work with smaller budgets to make interesting movies to bring people to the theaters again. But no. The suits all think that what we want is another Marvel movie and another remastered reboot with the new technology so we can see the orcs drool. I don't understand.
Just remaster the extended cuts and release those in theaters. You know how many people haven't had time to sit through 4 fucking DVDs of content?
I mean, I don't.
Seriously, it like the Lord of the Rings movies.
I can't.
They don't need to be redone.
They don't.
They're one of the, like, there's no lazy green screening because it was all filmed on location in New Zealand.
It's not like there's a Starbucks cup in the middle of a fucking trekking scene that got left in.
Or they have to sci-fi any crazy lasers. These motherfuckers are fighting with swords.
Or digitally out like a midget that decided to hang himself because the workloads were too heavy.
What?
Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
You don't. Okay. Anyway, bro, I'm saying like it's ridiculous, right? And what's extra ridiculous is to me
Rob Deerdick?
how loud we keep saying it's ridiculous, but Hollywood keeps going, okay, so we're gonna do it anyway, though. You know we're gonna do it, right? Like, you're not gonna get anything interesting because this is guaranteed to make us money. You niggas are gonna go see it anyway. You motherfuckers are going to watch the animated Good Times reboot.
I
Just to see
out of
how bad it
curiosity,
is.
almost hit play on it.
Just to see
But
how
I
bad
didn't.
it is.
And then
right?
the problem is I also, while I was pondering, I was like, you know what? I'm probably these motherfuckers' ideal audience, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with Lord of the Rings, though, right? Like, we go to see, like, what they change. Like, and they know it. They know we will go to see what they change because they refuse to make anything else, right?
I'm gonna sound like an asshole for this. Yes, diversity in casting is very important. Do we have to remake the entire fucking Lord of the Rings trilogy to do it?
Is that what you think they're gonna change? Just make it more diverse?
I guarantee you they will.
There's a new Transformers movie coming out. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it. This one's animated, right? And it's about Optimus and Megatron before they were like the leaders of their factions and stuff like that.
When they were both just still young. Transformers on Cybertron before the division of the Allspark.
I'm conflicted, right? Cue the Kendrick. I'm conflicted, right? Because once again, this is probably not aimed at me, right? Like, I'm not the target demographic for this. I'm an outlier for this. Like, they're hoping I go see the movie too, but it's really just like to get the Gen Alphas hype because they saw Bumblebee. And
I feel like the way you're thinking about this is the way I thought about the Sonic cartoon on Netflix. Like, I hit play on Sonic for a couple of minutes. I'm like, no, this isn't for me. I know the movies are good for me,
Sonic
but
Boom
isn't for me.
Sonic Boom is pretty funny. Don't sleep on Sonic.
But I mean, like,
I'm just, hey, look, if I could put you on to some, mindless kids content.
have you watched Slug Terra?
No, I have not.
I watched the entirety of Slug Terra when I was living at Avery's house. Because Avery was watching Slug Terra.
Well, now, speaking of Sonic, though, Sonic versus Shadow is getting ready to drop, right? And it's like...
Keanu Reeves is casted as Shadow. And
which,
which
fire casting, by the way.
Which is a great casting, but at the same time, I'm like...
Who else?
I couldn't even tell Idris Elba with Knuckles.
Who else would have been Shadow? Like, Jason Statham?
Gerard Way?
No, it would have had to have been Pedro Pascal.
Do you know who Gerard Way is?
No.
He's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, Pedro Pascal. No, it's Keanu Reeves, which, cool. If anybody was going to be Shadow, I'm okay with it being Keanu Reeves, especially since we're not getting Jim Carrey in this movie.
Yeah.
But, also, once again...
which is fine, because doing Dr. Egghead and Shadow would be a lot.
Am I the target demographic for this movie, though? Right? Like, who is the target demographic for this movie? Who is the target demographic for the fucking Lord of the Rings reboot? Is it for people who have already seen Lord of the Rings? If so, I think most of them are going, yeah, no, the last one was great. Why are we doing this again?
Yeah, those movies are long enough that you will forget shit unless you watch those movies like literally every...
Who is the target demographic for the new fucking Ghostbusters? Right, like I'm sure it's Gen Xers, right? Because they probably have enough disposable income to go see that shit again. But it does feel like Hollywood doesn't know who to make movies for, so they try to make movies that will fit every demographic.
I saw this great. Have you seen the Dr. Manhattan meme format where he's on Mars and it's like everything's happening at once?
Oh yeah.
first rock, it's like, it's 1986. I'm seeing Dune in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's 2020. I'm seeing Dune in Ghostbusters.
But that's literally...
It's 2024. I'm seeing Dune in Ghostbusters.
It's literally what it is. That's literally the timeline we're living in, bro. It's Looper. We're living in like fucking Looper, right? Except for everything is just slightly different every time it loops over again. And they wonder why everybody's going crazy.
Ryan Garcia's onto something.
They have us living in a fucking Mandela effect, bro. And it's like, and now we get to the point where we're like fucking arguing like...
We're in a world lit by gaslights.
Yeah. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Speaking of gaslighting, is it safe?
It is okay to give spoilers of X-Men 97 episode 6 at this point.
To me, my X-Men.
You mean to tell me Charles was out on a love tryst this entire time?
Charles! On Charles!
You mean to tell me Charles was out getting his fucking notebook on, just tripping across the stars with his little boo thing this entire time? Meanwhile, Genosha is on fire, and Scott needs therapy. Scott, everybody need fucking therapy after that, bro. When fucking, first of all, the only person, I love how the only person getting something close to therapy was probably Storm,
yeah.
Right? As she was
with Forge
dealing with her. First of all, not only
was Forge the therapist or was the adversary?
It was definitely her claustrophobia. As the adversary, and Forge used that against her in order to force her to get her powers back. But we won't talk about that.
She went full queen, got the full white mane of hair back.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, you love
that
to see
iconic Storm look.
You love to see it, the full emo.
And she not only
got her
not only
powers
she
back.
have her long hair back, but she was wearing the Queen of Wakanda outfit.
Oh, I peeped. Did her little emote, her little prance across the sky before she flew with the horses. Oh, I saw all the symbolism.
They made her look like the goddess she deserves to be.
The Omega level mutant that she is. I believe Storm is Omega.
Yes, absolutely. Like her power is
planet ending. Like
just like she controls the weather, and that's the description of her power. Like, you don't have to do any of these other qualifiers or anything. If it sounds that broken, it's because it's that broken.
I do believe in order to qualify as an Omega level mutant, she has to have planet-ending capabilities.
It has to be a mutant power where the upper limits cannot be measured.
Planet-ending capabilities. And yes, I do effectively
That's
believe...
why Rogue is a 7 on all of the... Like 7 being the max of all of the Marvel scaling things.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe though that controlling the weather is a planet-ending capability.
Absolutely.
Great. This really is like the best piece of Marvel content we've gotten in a while.
Since honestly, probably Endgame. Since Loki's season 1.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm not like a Marvel hater. I'm not like the rest of these people here with like Marvel fatigue that are like, oh, She-Hulk is terrible.
I have Marvel fatigue, but I want Marvel to do better. Like, I don't want to see Marvel fail.
I don't think that me personally, I don't think Marvel's doing terrible. I just think that not everything is going to be fucking Endgame. Right? Like, not everything is going to be Luke Cage in them. Not everything is going to be Jessica Jones, and y'all niggas have to be okay with that.
You gotta deal with the Iron Fists every now and then.
No, Iron Fist is terrible. Get that shit all the way the fuck out of here.
Like I said, for every Jessica Jones, and, you know...
She-Hulk is fine, though.
She-Hulk was meh.
She-Hulk was meh.
Way too much budget for what the show actually is. Like, if you're gonna do a legal comedy, they don't have to be $80 million an episode.
She-Hulk or Iron Fist.
I mean, can I just watch Punisher again?
No, but you can watch Morbius, though.
I mean, that would take less time.
Or Madam Web, how about that? Have you seen Madam Web yet?
No, but that sounds
No,
entertaining on a whole different level.
Yeah, no, I have not watched it.
There was one video, like the 3 days after that movie came out, I saw a YouTube video, and the guy opens the video with, "So I've seen Madam Web 7 times, and here are my thoughts." And I'm like, I don't even want to watch this video.
Yeah, no, I'm not about to
because
watch it.
You're either going to be so angry or delusional, and there's no in between.
I'm not about to watch a dude mansplain Madam Web to me. I don't need that. I'll just go watch the terrible movie myself.
Who watches any movie on release weekend 7 times?
Especially if it's terrible, bro. What's not terrible though is X-Men 97. If you're not hip, get hip. I'm telling you, it is one of the best things on television right now. It's fucking Shogun, Fallout, X-Men 97, baby.
We need to get hip to Shogun. I'm all the way through Fallout.
And don't sleep on the Fall of the House of Usher. Netflix has some real like sleeper content. Also, don't sleep on the Mr. and Mrs. Smith reboot. That shit is also fire. You said the new season of
Invincible?
Yeah, Invincible.
Oh, Invincible, fucking fire.
Listen, it's some
Invincible is incredible, and it will be coming out soon. I think the release date has been announced, but I can't remember the exact date. I just remember it's before July. The Boys, season 4.
That's it, baby. That's it. All right. Do we have any other media updates?
Well, we do have some updates on the Blade movie.
Let's talk.
That it is right now basically boiled down to Mahershala Ali killing vampires.
Hey, since we're talking Marvel, let's talk.
That's apparently where the script is. It's that bare bones.
So they were having director issues, right? I do believe they have, changed directors here at least once or twice now. Mahershala Ali almost walked off because of creative differences. So
multiple script rewrites.
I think if he is okay with the current state of the film, then we have one of two things to assume. He's like, man, at least fucking pay me at this point, or he's okay with the direction. And like, I don't know what else we really want from a Blade, right? Like,
What kind of creative differences do you think Mahershala Ali would present about a Blade?
That's what I'm like. What else is there to? So I'm not saying that the Blade character doesn't have a narrative or like a story to tell. Obviously, we know
looked
that's
this
not
up.
true.
Like, Blade, the character, was born in 1929 in London.
So there are directions that you can take with this, right? Like, you don't have to go full loaded X-Men woke on everybody and get the woke police after you, right?
However, he would be about late 30s, early 40s by the time the X-Men hit the scene.
I am wondering what kind of direction they were trying to take this character in, though, that has things so shaken up like this, right? Is it a budget thing? I would like to know more. I'll probably dig a little bit more into what the behind the scenes drama is, especially considering that this is the update we're getting. But also to play devil's advocate, I feel like it could be a good thing for the Blade movie, right? Like, don't overcomplicate it, don't make it bloated. I feel like that's what they tried. We don't
need Blade to immediately fit into the multiversal war.
I feel like that's what they tried to do with the Marvels. That's what they tried to do with the Eternals.
If they're going to do any crossover tie-in with Blade, I think there is only one character that they should do it with. Who is it? God damn it.
Kill this nigga Morbius. Kill him off.
Daredevil.
Oh. Fair. I mean, that would be cool, right?
Or Punisher. But more likely Daredevil, considering Disney is already actively working with Daredevil, and I think they're waiting for fascism to die to do anything.
I feel like a Blade movie was a misstep. I feel like we should have gotten a Blade TV show. I guess Mahershala Ali might consider himself too big of an actor for the, streaming TV. But I do feel like a Blade TV show would have been a better narrative. They could have did, like, maybe not like a whole Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing, right? But like a True Blood, no.
Tie it in with like S.H.I.E.L.D. They could almost do like Hellboy with the paranormal investigations unit.
Right. Make it more like more dark and gritty, like Luke Cage meets Supernatural, right? And I guess that might have been a little tough. Yeah, I just said
that's kind of like Lovecraft Country.
So, like, I just said that Mahershala Ali is too big of an actor for network TV, completely forgetting that he started out in Luke Cage, right? Like, I'm not gonna say started out.
He didn't start out, but he was Cottonmouth
in Luke Cage, right? So, like, now it comes full circle. He's the, hero of this series, right? He gets to be the lead actor instead of the villain. I feel like that would have hit better than the movie, and they wouldn't have. Obviously, they're trying to fit too much into the runtime and the budget that they're allotted, and now they've been sat down by the studio.
They're just like, let him kill vampires.
That's it. Right? They've literally been sat down by the studio and been like, it's just
like, we're not even gonna be overbearing on you guys for this. Just keep it simple. Let Mahershala Ali be badass and do his best Wesley Snipes impression and kill vampires.
Literally, he just has to be better than Wesley. That's it. That's all we're asking. And that's crazy, right? Because I feel like that's not normal from what we get from Marvel movies. But I mean, hey, after the run that they've had, it's looking like Drake's season.
One last media update.
Hey.
So they're rebooting The Naked Gun.
The O.J. Simpson,
Leslie Nielsen will be played by Liam Neeson.
The O.J. Simpson, Leslie Nielsen will now be Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson will be his partner. And my only response when I said this was, OJ's character has to be played by Jonathan Majors.
I mean, listen. Jonathan isn't as bad as OJ at this point, right? He's never said,
that would be hilarious.
I'm not black, I'm Jonathan. Right?
No, I think he's doing the opposite of that.
Yeah,
he's like,
absolutely.
I want myself a Rosa Parks.
Or Megan Good. So, keeping on trend with what we were discussing earlier is why the remake? You're telling me that there is no script sitting on anybody's desk right now that is as good as The Naked Gun? Like,
I'm gonna push back on this. I feel like The Naked Gun is a totally appropriate remake right now. It's just it has the opportunity to go way more scathing.
Do you think they'll do that, though? Because the whole reason we're talking about this is currently it is being discussed. Yeah, no, I don't know, bro. I don't know if I agree with that, man. Because I'm just like, this is the reason why Hollywood is so stagnant, and they keep just doubling down on it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm sure that with the right investment money behind it, this movie could actually turn out to be something worth seeing. But
like a Drake album?
Not if he keeps throwing fucking AI.
Honestly, never mind.
I, however, feel like this is the reason why Hollywood is stagnant. And despite the potential upsides to a Naked Gun reboot, it does not deter the fact that until Hollywood starts investing in some new, fresh ideas, we will continue to see the downtrend in numbers in box office ticket sales and seats, or butts in seats, right? Like, obviously, I'm not going to go anywhere to fucking see a movie when I can stream Beverly Hills 4 from my, or whatever the fuck new Beverly Hills movie.
What Netflix 12-episode series stars Drake? Make up a Netflix series that stars Drake for 12 episodes, 48 minutes each.
So we're doing a title?
It has to star Drake.
Why are you so passionate about it?
Because the machine will insist that Drake gets the limelight. So, make a show for Drake. But he can't be Drake, and he also cannot be in a wheelchair.
It's obviously a network adaptation of 21 Jump Street, where Drake gets to be around high school. Because...
Not the direction I thought you were going to go. Even more savage than I thought you would have done. And I got nothing after that.
And we can keep Channing Tatum, but Drake is now doing Jonah Hill's role.
Ice Cube is replaced by Eminem.
No, Ice Cube is replaced by Birdman.
Is that scarier or less scary?
By 50 Cent. Ice Cube is replaced by 50 Cent since 50 is decided he's Team Drake.
That's definitely scarier.
I feel like this TV series still works though.
The fact that it's not out of the realm of possibility that Drake might get a Netflix series strictly as promotional material is what they put in the Buster Sword.
I did hear rumors that he has a show coming to HBO Max or Max. Are we calling it HBO Max though? Are we doing the Twitter X thing where we're just like refusing to call it the new thing? Anyway, doesn't matter.
I'm more fine with Max than I am X.
There is a good amount of substantial evidence to suggest that Drake may be trying to transition away from his musical career back into a more on-screen persona. But we will give you all more updates of that later on because Drake...
This is a rapidly developing story.
Transitioning back into acting is just more proof that
none of this is normal. But what should be normal is buying all your Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Flesh and Blood, Magic the Gathering, board games, card game supplies at tokenmtg.com and use the promo code Ziggy to get 10% off of your order. And once again, shout out to our patrons, Enraged Peacock and Austin Squared.
And if you enjoyed kicking it with us this episode, you can become a patron at the Flood Pod, and that's the Flood Pod on everything, and that is
on everything.
And we'll be back at y'all next week with more hot takes.
Deuces!
Deuces.
Look, it's a flood. It's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about Black Sabbath?